Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small. After you depart Port Mage, Aloth Corvisor pursues a mission of his own, finding an ancient leaden key cabal hidden in Deadfire. His search leads him to the Wahaki tribe, yet without a Watcher's insight, he is unable to understand the clues he finds, or why they leave the tribe suspicious of him. He dies on a warrior's spear, never learning the answers he sought. Aloth renews his commitment to transforming the leaden key from a tool of secrecy and oppression into a watchdog organization. With the wheel broken, he reasons the world will need wise and responsible leadership more than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the leaden key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. His one regret is having to leave the Watcher he has come to love. He bids you a fond and affectionate farewell, hoping your paths converge again one day. If Aloth has learned one thing from your adventures, it is that the forces shaping the world are vaster and more complex than he had ever imagined, and they are far beyond anyone's power to control. Thus, it is with great relief that he sheds Theus's mantle. The leaden key will become what Kith need of it in time, assuming they have need of it at all. Thus, it is with great relief that he abandons his labors against the leaden key. Without Theus at the helm, it will crumble in its own time. The best he can do is stand back and allow it to happen. Happily, his decision allows him to journey alongside the Watcher he has come to love. He does not know what the future holds for them, or, indeed, for the world. Whatever it is, they shall face it as they have faced all their greatest trials, together. In the days sailing back from Ukaizo, Eder keeps mostly to himself, reflecting upon the new, fragile existence his god has forced upon the world. He decides that if he knows one thing about the gods, it is that they are already plotting, and greater calamities will certainly follow. Ultimately, he chooses to remain with you on the Defiant, knowing if any mortal is to have the final word in a conflict with the gods, it will be the Watcher of Cadnua. In the days sailing back from Ukaizo, Adair finds himself disillusioned with all gods, his own above all. Where the gods have touched Deadfire, he sees only destruction, loss, and emptiness. He casts off all symbols of Aethys, and even begins refusing to use his name. Ultimately, he chooses to remain with you on the Defiant, knowing if any mortal is to have the final word in a conflict with the gods, it will be the Watcher of Cadnua. Adair takes his leave from the Defiant at the first port you reach. He does not share his intentions, but you later learn he has secured passage back to the Deerwood. There, he traces the footsteps of Aethys in reverse, working to repair the devastation his god has wrought. Adair takes his leave from the Defiant at the first port you reach. He does not share his intentions, but you later learn he has secured passage back to the Deerwood. There, he brings a message to the Athasian faithful, telling them that Aethys has returned, and that their faith in their god has not been misplaced. Adair returns to Hisango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Elava. Although Byrne regrets not having joined the army of Aethys, he accepts that he tried to go about it the wrong way. Likewise, he comes to idolize his new uncle, who has truly marched in the lighted path. Together they set about bolstering Aethys's following in Deadfire and prepare for the greater conflict Adair believes is soon to come. Adair returns to Hasongo, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Aloth. However, the visit does not go as planned. Distraught upon learning that he has truly missed the chance to help Aethys in his greatest moment, Byrne spurns Adair's offer of guidance. He disappears from Hasongo soon after, leaving Adair alone there with only memories of the boy's mother for company. Eventually, Adair finds his way back to rejoin you on the Defiant. Adair returns to Hasongo, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Aloth. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud, and Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. Plagued by constant nightmares and hallucinations, Xoti becomes increasingly disassociated from reality. Meanwhile, her power continues to grow with every soul she harvests. You start to notice sliced-up animal corpses everywhere you two travel. But when confronted about it, Xoti stomps her feet and fiercely denies any wrongdoing. Then, one night, Xoti wakes, but never leaves the nightmare. Shivering uncontrollably, she packs up her belongings and slips away into the darkness, murmuring that she must return to the Temple of Gon in order to fulfill her purpose to her god. But she never reaches the temple. None of the Dawn Stars know what's become of her, aside from disturbing rumors of a harvester ravaging the southeastern islands in the Deadfire, leaving a trail of blood in her wake. Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Xoti takes to a new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls for Gon, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawn Stars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Neketaka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you." Xoti's journey through the Deadfire on your ship is an eye-opening experience for the sheltered farm girl. After many souls harvested, more lives aided, and much adventure had, the priestess declares her intent to rejoin her fellow missionaries at the Temple of Gon in Neketaka. Following a shy grin and an overzealous handshake, Xoti leaves you with an open invitation to visit her anytime. It is some months later when she pens you a missive. "Can you hardly believe it?" her chicken scratch handwriting reads. "Sawin's sailing for distant lands. She's leaving me in charge of the temple. I've been named the High Priestess of Gon." Though the two of you no longer travel together, Xoti holds fast to the memory of you in her heart, remaining your fierce and doting girlfriend, faithful even in her absence. You receive a missive for every day apart, though they often arrive in a single bundle some weeks or months past. In them, she writes of how she misses you, how you are like a fire that burns inside her, how one day surely you will be reunited again. Until then, she prays for your safety as she continues to labor in service to Gon. After you divest Xoti of her virtue, she does not take the breakup well. On several different nights, you have to turn her away when she tries to follow you into your captain's quarters. It's hard not to notice how Xoti follows Maia everywhere she goes. The two seem nigh inseparable and can often be found talking, laughing, fishing, and target practicing, or sharing drinks and kisses before sneaking below decks for some privacy. After Xoti and Maia's short-lived romance flames out, the priestess sulks about the ship, looking listless, her lantern light burning low. But after only a couple of weeks, she picks herself back up again, vowing to focus single-mindedly on her duty to Gon. Xoti is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. But as you all travel, Adair grows increasingly uncomfortable with her attempts to engender his affection, until he finally takes her aside and sets her straight. He's not interested in a sheltered, overzealous little girl, he explains in so many words. After that, Xoti turns a cold shoulder to him, sometimes forgetting to heal him in the chaos of battle. Or so she claims. Xoti is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Xoti with an open mind. And Xoti begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship. Your trials in the Deadfire end without crossing Serafen's path a second time, and you never hear whether the slavers you sold him to at Bleak Rock Shrine ever catch him. Regardless, he likely wants little to do with you. Yet every once in a while, you catch a hint of cobalt blue out of the corner of your eye, and you wonder whether the Orlan pirate is as finished with you as you are with him. After your encounter with Aethys, the pirate drifts into quiet contemplation. As you sail into your next port, he meets you at the ship's rail. He'll be leaving the gods to you going forward, he tells you, and saving his bullets for those like to die from them. Serafen parts company with you not long after. Occasionally, in the years that pass, you hear tales of his ship, the taste of freedom, and its violent exploits against any and all who would purchase or purvey kith. After your encounter with Aethys, he opens a bottle of rum to celebrate your survival. He uncorks a second shortly thereafter. By the time Serafen leaves you at Neketaka, you haven't seen him sober in weeks. The Orlan drifts out of your life as inscrutably as he drifted into it, and what little you hear of him in the years that follow suggests he's come to find himself more comfortable in taverns and taprooms than in galleys and galleons. You let Romaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Eder Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Serafen seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. Romaro, mutineer and traitor, bled out at your feet. During the remainder of your time together, you occasionally catch Serafen watching you, the expression in his green eyes contemplative. Though his gaze is largely inscrutable, it's far from friendly. And yet, When the two of you part, Serafen seems emboldened, invigorated by a new sense of purpose. He buys you a drink, toasts to the Deadfire, says, let's see if we can make something worth a shit out of what's left of these Principe swabs, and sets sail the next morning. In the years to follow, rumors occasionally reach you of the Blue Orlan pirate of the Deadfire, a privateer captain as keen to free slaves or fight for an influence as he is to plunder and pillage. When he leaves, he does so with little fanfare. Nothing but a roughly scrawled note slipped under your door. Be seeing you, Cap. You hear of Serafen from time to time, in rumors and sea tales. He prowls the Deadfire, a brutally efficient killer, never long for any ship and never close to any crew. Serafen seems little impacted by your journey. Always knew the gods were larger than me, he tells you, on the evening he decides to part from your company. He's too long put aside those he cares most for. He confesses over a bottle of rum, and he's got leagues to sail to make it right. The following morning, he's gone, leaving only a crude stick figure rendering of Aethys, scrawled into the hull to mark his passage. Time away from the Navy gives Maia Rua some perspective on how Rauatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen. Pleased with the Navy's conduct throughout the Deadfire campaign, Maia returns to active duty. She can find a free drink and a sharp salute anywhere she goes in Rauataian territory. In recognition of her performance, the Navy attempts to give Maia less strenuous work. She flatly refuses, throwing herself into the fray whenever she can. Her rifle never has time to cool. Turning her back on the hierarchy that brought her to the Deadfire earns Maia Rua a dishonorable discharge from Rauatai's Navy. The homeland attempts to stem further rebellion with a campaign of propaganda, smearing her name wherever ships make port. Maia is numb to all of this. Her pain is self-imposed. It isn't long before she leaves your company with little fanfare, going her own way in the world. Though Maia's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. Maia's part in the conquest of Ukaizo brings fame and fortune to the Rua family. Officers salute her in passing, and a row of medals decorate the breast of her uniform. Her parents and siblings are paraded between the great houses of Rauatai for nightly dinners and celebrations. She has a hero's welcome in her future. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. She misses her brother, but some wounds are not meant to heal. Even Ashiza feels his absence. She acts withdrawn in your presence, haunted by her choices. The bond that you once shared all but dissolves in silence. Though she has a lot on her mind, she still makes time to visit, even if it's just to share a few pleasant words and a subtle wink. You don't often travel together, but it's clear that what you built in your time as shipmates is alive and well. There's never enough free time to explore your mutual connection. Something about your bond feels unfinished. But as your paths diverge, you start running out of reasons to see each other. In your presence, she's always armed with a pleasant smile and lots of questions. Her embrace is full of warmth. If there isn't time now, Someday there might be. Whenever you come across Maia, Xoti is never far off. The two of them spend every available hour sharing stories over drinks, dangling their feet over docks, or exploring strange temples by the light of Xoti's lantern. They're good for each other, and they both seem to know it. She and Xoti don't see much of each other, and when they cross paths, they quickly run out of things to say. Their agreement to set aside what they once tried to build together is largely unspoken. Tekehu never intended to grasp at the destiny his coming foretold, but he finds himself doing just that. He sails from island to island as an emissary from the gods to the Juana people. The tribes welcome his message and use it to bridge their traditions across the archipelago. Juana unity has never been stronger. With Ngoti's covenant firmly in mind, Tekehu feels confident enough to reshape the very Deadfire. The discovery of Ukaizo doesn't bring Tekehu the answers that he sought, but this proves only a minor setback. Merely knowing that Ngoti's chosen landed on the island ignites something in the Juana tribes, a fervent desire to recover the past and let history illuminate the way forward. Tekehu rides this momentum, leading by example and teaching his people to rely on each other instead of on omens. His message is an upheaval of norms, but it's as embraced and beloved as he is. Armed with new resolve, Tekehu ushers the Water Shapers Guild toward the traditions of the forgotten past. Ngoti's gift slowly begins to resemble something closer to its ancestral form. The work is slow but determined. After the massacre of the Water Shapers, Tekehu attempts to restore the guild to its former strength. His example attracts new recruits, but he struggles to teach his acolytes that which comes from instinct. Without Tekehu, the Water Shapers Guild learns to grow and prosper on its own. The established forms and philosophies of water shaping evolve over time. The pace is slow and uncoordinated, but hopeful. Without Tekehu to wrest it back from the precipice, the Water Shapers Guild falls into permanent decline. Most of the surviving guild members don't know the ancestral art well enough to pass on their knowledge to the next generation. The art doesn't vanish entirely, but its significance diminishes. Tekehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngoti's silence speaks volumes. The Juana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after his departure from Neketaka, sailors report of mountainous water sculptures rising from the open sea, entrancing and salacious. These works are celebrated everywhere, from the brothel to the palace, though the identity of the artist remains an open question. Tekehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngoti's silence speaks volumes. The Juana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after he departs Neketaka, distant tribes report of unusual and salacious water sculptures appearing on the shores. These quaint visitations are widely celebrated, the identity of the artist ever an open question. As your paths diverge, Tekehu leaves you with a protracted and energetic farewell. He has work to do in the Deadfire, but his heart, and he insists the rest of him, is yours. You make promises to see each other again on different shores. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Tekehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. He bids you farewell, suggesting that you seek your next adventure in a brothel or tavern, where consequences begin and end at the front door. He sounds eager to leave old conflicts in the past. As your paths diverge, Tekehu expresses remorse that you did not have more time to explore your connection. The future is uncertain, but the embrace you share at parting is full of promise. After reporting back to her superiors for the Watcher's actions against the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is rewarded with reassignment home to the Valian Republics. She spends the next several years as the head of the household guard for the Duke of Anchenze. In this role, she is often lauded for her courage and loyalty. Even with all of the praise, there are still times when she cannot help but feel she could have had more influence on what transpired in the Deadfire. For assisting the Watcher in securing Ukaizo for the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is honored in a ceremony at Biajepe, attended by all 5 of the Duke's bells. Duke Ramasi is so overjoyed by his good fortune that he offers Pallegina a boon. She immediately takes the Duke up on his offer by requesting that the ducal charter of the Fremas Mes Conxualias be amended to allow the admission of women. Soberly, the Duke accepts, much to his chagrin. The following spring, the Brotherhood admits its first 5 girl cadets. Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the personal guard of the Duchess Sparento. She excels in this role and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. She finds time to write to her camerata often, telling you of the great advances in animancy and arts the Republics continue to make at home, in the Deadfire and beyond. Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the personal guard of the Duchess Sparento. She excels in this role and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. Their close relationship causes friction with the Duchess's husband, the Kanta Maraba. His impotent annoyance becomes the subject of courtly gossip and the inspiration for a well-received farce, staged at the biggest theater in Otsia. For assisting the Watcher with the Huana conquest of Ukaizo, Pallegina is immediately dismissed from the Brotherhood, but the Duke stops short of banishing her from the Republics. Director Castal intercedes on her behalf, pleading with the Dukes for her assistance with his ongoing work in the Deadfire. Reluctantly, the Dukes readmit Pallegina to the Fremas Mes Conxualias. She remains Director Castal's only official support from the Dukes in the region. For assisting the Watcher with the Huana conquest of Ukaizo, Pallegina is immediately dismissed from the Brotherhood. With no friends left among the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is banished from the Republics. Seen as a Valian by the Huana and an outcast by her own people, she finds the Deadfire cold and unwelcoming. Spirit broken, she eventually boards a ship bound for Defiance Bay and is not heard from again. The Valian Trading Company is initially furious with Pallegina for her support of the Watcher during the Principe conquest of Ukaizo. They make a show of banishing her from the Order for a time, but they quickly realize that Captain Ferrante has no intention of pushing the company from the Deadfire. Within a few months, she is readmitted to the Brotherhood, though the Dukes ensure she spends a year performing the most onerous assignments available. The Valian Trading Company is furious with Pallegina for her support of the Watcher during the Principe conquest of Ukaizo. Their fury intensifies when Aldi's pirates triple their attacks on all merchant ships in the Deadfire. Instead of removing Pallegina from the Brotherhood, the Dukes assign her to guard the most vulnerable ships in the company fleet. 5 months into her assignment, Pallegina goes down with the Vengiata Men Aimora. Her body is never found. The Valian Trading Company is initially furious when they learn that Pallegina had assisted the Watcher in claiming Ukaizo. In the chaotic aftermath, the company takes a more nuanced view of Pallegina's actions. The turmoil in the region allows the well-organized company to seize a number of valuable assets from their competitors. Though Pallegina is not rewarded for her actions, nor is she punished, the Dukes and Songreta agree to forget her support of the Watcher. She is quietly reassigned to duty in the Valian Republics, an order she gladly obeys. Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly and even meeting with the old Animancer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers and even the Dukes themselves note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile. Despite her good fortunes in the Deadfire, Pallegina mourns the loss of Giacomo for years. She curses herself for not finding her friend sooner, for not protecting him from Captain Tutzadl and his crew. On a few lonely nights, Pallegina composes letters to the Watcher, asking what more they could have done to save him. They are never sent. Although she had made it through her second adventure with the Watcher, Pallegina regrets that she never found her childhood friend, Giacomo. She searches far and wide, across the Deadfire and beyond, but never finds him.